Check. That whole time you're recording.
Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, you want a coffee?
No, I'm good. I like just shoot from the hip.
All right, what's up, everybody? You in 5, 4, 3, 2. What's up, everybody? You're now tuned in to the Y.O.D Podcast with the one and only tough is good, smart is better. Are you coachable? Choose to succeed. And then, Ajahn Ruben. Episode 91, the Y.O.D Podcast. Be sure to click, comment, subscribe, and share at the Y.O.D Podcast and visit www.theyodpodcast.com for all things Y.O.D. Without further ado, let's get into it.
All right.
Process of open arms, embracing it all as if you are made of steel. I don't care what people think. The evolution then becomes, I only care what X, Y, and Z think. Is it healthy to care? Is it healthy to lean into criticism, be it constructive or destructive? What's your perspective on the people pleaser versus I don't care what people think, and the balance or separation of the two?
Right in the middle. Right in the middle. Yeah, I've been a bit of a, tried to be people pleaser, and then there's a version where I go, fuck you and your mama, I don't care. And they're a bit of extremes in general, but there comes a time and you make a judgment call as to when it's a good idea to, in fact, in spots, be the people pleaser, but you gotta know it. And it's only for a certain amount of time, then you should cut it off. Then sometimes it's like, you know what? No, here's a directive, command decision. I don't give a shit what you think. Get off your fucking ass, go do what I just said. That's it. Not a discussion, not a debate. It's pendulum swing. But it don't stay there. It comes right back in the middle. Moderation always has seemed to save the day, and it lasts longer. It's almost like life itself. Extremes just don't work. They don't last. It's lopsided. It's just too much friction and too much weight, and it just doesn't work. If you go too far trying to help people pleasing, that's that overly altruistic piece. We done touched on this before. That is, you're a natural giver. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that. The problem is in fucking takers. As soon as they figure that out, they're like a chi vampire. There is no end to what they'll take. They'll never stop. And then, smile and just bleed your fucking ass dry. And like, well, you stupid enough to do it. And then they move on to the next motherfucker. Yeah. It's just like from one host to another, to another, to another. And then if you're smart, you got to figure out who takers are. It's hard because they hide who they are. One thing I've noticed with a few people, because I never paid it much attention, and I understand characteristic descriptions, but this whole social media, one word becomes a trend. The whole narcissist thing. It's almost like jujitsu. Oh, it's new. It didn't just start yesterday, not last week, not last month, not last year. What the fuck? But if what I see, it falls in that category of that thing that, I don't know if it's Shakespeare that said, thou protest too much. So the ones that's usually throwing it out, trying to deflect the fact that that's who they are.
I see.
I mean, because I'm very analytical and I'm watching, I'm thinking, why the fuck you keep saying this shit? What the fuck? I'm thinking, you motherfucker.
On that note right there, is it at your advantage to know and recognize that person? Because the same way they may be quote unquote using you, you can kind of, for lack of a better word, compartmentalize the use of them in your life, if that makes any sense.
Especially if there's a benefit to some degree, yeah. But then, depending on the degree, it's real subjective. Because sometimes it's you got to look at gains and losses, and it's like, is it really worth having that soul around you? Because at some point in time, they will go for a jugular vein. Like that type person of people are a version of sociopath. They don't care. Your well-being means absolutely nothing. People like that leave a trail of what they call skull and crossbones.
Yeah. It's like a wild animal that's focused on eating their prey. Yeah.
I'm telling you, it took me a long time to learn and understand that. I don't think that way, but I mean, shit. The biggest experience I had was my daughter's mom. That's what that woman was, a classic sociopath, not psychopath, sociopath, and sociopath damn near run parallel with narcissistic individuals. That is, I didn't even know humans existed like that. I'm smart, but them motherfuckers smart too.
Sometimes
and they come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
Man, and so when it's one of these things where it's like, let me cut my losses. Because when you're in association with that type, it's never about the group, the whole, or you. It's always about them. No matter how it's dressed up, it's always, everything is them. And you better figure it out as soon as possible. And it's like, And so these days, any version of that, male, female, make no difference. Now, I do this thing my dad told me called wean away. Like little by little, I just disappeared. I disappeared. Like, yeah, get the fuck with me. You garbage.
Yeah, like dope. That's on that note, because we talk about the Bible and stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of plays into how they, in a way where, like you said, somebody projects something that they might actually be, right? And a lot of times the message of preaching out, weeding out the food from the weeds or the grain from the soil, et cetera, right? Mm-hmm. And how God weeds out, you know what I'm saying, the good from the bad, or those who are fake, et cetera. It's almost as if, like, you can listen in that world, in that space, to what they're saying, and they'll tell you exactly who they are if you look at the pattern of their sermons, and the person and the individual is the same way. Like you said, if the conversation keeps carrying that way, then they're kind of telling you who they are. That's crazy. It's
your eyes got to be keen, though. Your eyes got to be keen, because one thing I learned toward the end, I don't know what mindset she was at the time we were talking about daughter's mom. And I swear, in every other person I've seen that's even borderline or narcissist, if you will, it's a version of the same shit. Some just more extreme, some less, but it's always the same. And she said, well, I about had a heart attack. She goes, because what they do is they play to what they understand you want to see or you prefer. It's an act. The entire thing's an act. And she said, well, if you knew who I really was, you would never have liked me. I said, bitch, that means I ain't supposed to like you.
Yeah, that's scary.
Did you just, what the fuck? But just that in a nutshell, all of them are like that. Any version. If they're thinking, well, if you really knew who I was, you wouldn't like me. I ain't supposed to like your ass then.
Yeah, that's weird.
But you got to catch them.
But that's a statement that I'm trying to, because it's kind of like, let me put it this way, like the criminal that just committed a crime, right? He just robbed the gas station. The cops come and say, hey, man, you guys see who did it? He's like, man, if y'all would have known what I did 10 minutes ago, y'all wouldn't be asking me that question. It's like, why the fuck are you saying that? So it is kind of like you're crazy because you're saying
there's this disassociation with life and reality, but it's that just no connection with basically giving a fuck about another human being
and letting you know about it at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. So no matter what, anyone, if they're narcissistic in any way, shape, or form, or the psychopath, if you will, everything is about them. there's no two ways. It's just the one. But again, like I said, it's very skillful at showing you what they figured out you prefer to see.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's a role they'll play. But, and like you said, somewhere in there, there are tales, but it's so spread out. I mean, anyone that lived a long time, they had a long time to master their craft. So it's not like you're just going to pick that shit up right off the bat.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. You just hope you get it before you go off a cliff.
That kind of leans to the point. I mean, not leans to the point, but kind of leans to the logic that might be rather than a learned behavior, a personality trait. Because if it's like for instance, if a kid is like naturally athletic, right? No matter what, their personality is always going to lean towards, man, you're too aggressive, you're too this, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not necessarily something they learn. It's just, this is who the fuck I am.
Right.
So is that a learned behavior, or is that like you born with a personality trait that you can't help but be focused on you?
Well, not to beat this whole thing up, but what I got from it, apparently that she was that way the entire time. With the whole family story, listening to them explaining from a little kid all the way through.
Yeah.
And then just mastered the craft. Mm-hmm.
Kind of like you accept your personality and then finesse it. That's crazy.
And so I mean, it's just like that thing, man. They you know what's popular and whatnot. And when someone speaks on this and that, and that Shakespeare thing come back to me, like I said in the beginning, thou would protest too much. And that was a smart dude. I think he was a bit of a psychologist. I think he was with some of the stuff he said, because it's masterful human behavior. Somebody go on it way too much about something. You're like, hold up, talk about yourself.
Kind of like you get in a flow of conversation, you don't even realize it.
Like, wait a minute. And I keep it to myself, but I do, it's like a cue. I listen. One time, okay, whatever. It fits in the conversation. 2, 3 or more. Okay, wait a minute. Why in the fuck this keep coming up? And then it make me on whoever a little bit more than I would, and it ain't failed yet. Like, okay. That when I use the word blame shift, it's the same thing as deflect. Because it's them.
Yeah.
But look over here, look over here. No, wait a minute. You the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Why you keep... Because anyone, you're just a normal thinking person. I don't use that word. It made me think about it. Like, who the fuck? I never even, looked into what it meant.
Yeah. I
don't live in that realm. Because, I got my shit, I got my stuff to do, but I'm like, hold up. I got to take care of this motherfucker. I got to figure out this shit for this one, because I'm about the whole. The fuck?
Yeah. I feel you.
And even when, and not to beat it up, but even when I was in church, it's the same thing. I was like, wait a minute. Because I kept seeing, I don't know who said that corruption, the definition of corruption is individuals out for themselves. And so I watched, and the talk was always unity, but the action was, nobody was together. Nobody. And I just watched this mess. I'm like, you preaching this and you ain't doing any of it, so why should I listen to you?
Yeah.
Or mom made me go to church. We get back home and I beat this to death. And every freaking Sunday she was tell me and my sister go in the other room, and she would just go off on all the foul shit that's going on in the church every Sunday. So I'm like,
yeah.
I'm gonna just act like it's okay. No.
I think that's the problem with not only church, but I think everything in life and even relationships. We allow the elephant in the room, if you will, to sit there, and we even allow his brother, his cousins, his friends to come in too, and we just sit there and act like it's not there,
and act like it ain't there.
And I think like honesty, I forgot who said it, but they said the easiest way to bring peace, unity, and everything like that, if you just say what you actually feel. And like within, like I said, not to beat that horse, but within religion and everything like that as a whole, we'll move on to the next question. It's that refusal to just be honest. Like, even if you don't believe or have a problem believing what you're saying and preaching, like, be honest with that. And we all can figure this shit out together.
It makes it so much easier.
Yeah, the fact that you don't want to be honest and claim your space at the top of knowing it all or having the right interpretation, that's actually the problem.
I see it like at time when we were I don't know if we gone to Desert Storm or got back, but I know we had 15 sergeants. Like I said, I was a senior one, and of course, one getting ready to go through hell, but then when you come back from it, you're different. You a little bit more hardened, a little weird. And if I had a way of not displacing, but yeah, taking any emotional thought or feeling and putting it on the shelf, I damn sure knew how to do it after that, because you have to learn to get through that. You can't be all about that. Just do your job or die. Who cares? You got to be that black and white about shit. And that's it. So I get in one day, and then, to me, the baddest motherfucking staff instructor I see ever worked for, Gunny Hinton at the time. He ended up retiring master gun, but that was a bad motherfucker. He's like, Rowell, come here. I was like, what's up, Gunny? He's like, hey man, the mother sergeant don't like you. You might want to go talk to him. And me and him, we no different. I'm like, all right. Call all of them in the conference room, close the door, and they all sat down. And I am not shitting you. So this is like, I ain't gonna say calling bullshit, but let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay? So I said to him, I said, listen, I understand that a bunch of y'all got an issue with me. I said, but I'm gonna make it real easy and clear to you. I said, it's quite a few of you I can't fucking stand. So where we at? Who the fuck say we gotta like each other? We don't. We got a job to do. You expert at this, you expert at that, I'm expert at this. I'm supposed to assign who does what, and I do a good job at that. Gotta go out fucking drinking with you. If I like y'all like I don't, I don't. And I don't give a fuck that you don't like me. I just told you, there's a handful of you I can't fucking stand. So now what?
Yeah.
I'm like, is that it? All right, we cool. Walked out and I was into it. We went to work. Just fuck it. Let's not act like, oh, nah. You don't like me, that's cool. But here's the deal. I can't fucking stand you. I hate you more than you got issues with me. You feel good now? And then one of the motherfuckers, it rattled the shit out of me. Like, oh, hey, sorry, Ryan, you got a minute? Like, what? Oh, you said you couldn't stand me. Like, what I do? And I'm thinking, you little bitch. So it's okay to run around and say you don't like me, but I let you know I can't fucking stand you, and you bothered by it. And then I broke it down. I said, bruh, I said, it ain't personal. I said, as a goddamn sergeant, you don't do your fucking job. That's what I don't like. Do you do this, this, and this? Well, do you do this, this, and this? No. I said, well, bitch, there you go. That's what I got a problem with. The fuck that got to do with me liking you? Do your job. Oh, okay. God damn.
Yeah.
But it just cut all this fucking 16-year-old girl. Grow up. God. Oh, anyway.
Nah, I feel you.
Man, you talk about cleared the air. We just went to work and that was the end of that shit. So no, we know we don't like each other, but we're gonna get the job done. There you go.
Yeah. 90% of the time, there's no end game to confrontation or issues with other people. Or if I don't like them, a lot of times somebody will not like somebody just for not liking them, but there's no end game. Like, what's the point? Like, what do you want to do? You want to go fuck them up? Do you want to tell them about it? Like,
yeah.
And I think how you handle that is perfect. Like, you went straight. What's the point? Like, what is our goal? Are we gonna fight and then move on, or are we just gonna still work? Because we still work here. Like, so I mean, once again, honesty.
It killed it.
Understanding the point in the end game, man, but it's hard to get there. Like, everybody don't like. It's uncomfortable.
I ain't give a shit.
And I think a lot of times it has to do with you.
But see, that's what I'm saying. It's like I've always been really good if I'm given a task and I know I can get the job done. I ain't gonna spend a whole lot of time. I kind of run through my head like, wait a minute, Nope. Yeah, I ain't gonna like it. Well, fuck 'em. Ain't about that. We got this to do. I go straight to it. I ain't got time. Don't care. So now it's back to those points where that is the extreme. I don't give a fuck. He ain't come. Eat shit. He ain't come back to the middle.
That's personal peace. Your personal peace. So at that point, I don't have time to go. The time spent on that, that's good.
It's a waste. Nope. No. So it's funny, that was a simple question, but that's a loaded, extended. Yes. That's right.
The world as we know it, or thought we did, is slowly dismantling itself. Belief turned beef as religions fight for hierarchy. Every movement, moment, or outrage becomes its own little religion. As the rhetoric is repeated, acted upon, and thought about validity in hopes of encouraging others to think the same. Even an innocent Google search or YouTube search turns into a new members class because the algorithm plays the game too.
Yep.
Life, interpretation, context, and reality. In your opinion, where do we go from here? And I know, as you often say, like, you subscribe to a lot of things from the 90s mindset, old school mindset, is referencing and leaning on the way of old in certain aspects the only way to make it through these new days, or is it just we've been here before, just another decade of the same old bullshit?
Well, it's funny. I used to think when I was younger how cool it was to be young, and at the time I was at, in reference to, because I do remember the feel of the late 60s and early 70s. Seriously got connection with all of the 70s. And I ain't like any of that. I just couldn't stand it. Everything about the 70s stuff. And then the 80s, it started to like, it's like residue. Let's get rid of the 70s and be more innovative and let's grow and get better. And then it got full speed toward the late 80s or early 90s, and then the 90s just rocked like a motherfucker. I felt somewhere now, it's like, man, shit makes sense. It's so strong, the momentum, I don't know. And it was in the music everywhere, and that, across the board, any kind. And I felt in my gut, I'm weird and very ethereal, and I felt like, I don't know if this shit can be topped. I remember saying it to myself, and I was like, I hope so, because it's supposed to. And then I can honestly say, it being, metaphysical, if I wouldn't want to be growing up young in this time now, because I'd be ignorant as hell. Educated, better educated on stuff, and still ignorant. Because I have no understanding of what any of the past was like. Not at all. I don't give a fuck how many videos you watch. I don't give a fuck how much you listen to. You can't feel it. You got to have been it. And the luxury that we do have, I guess, as Generation Xers, we've seen it all and can really compare. Like, it's in our fingernails, all of it, It's not the same. It's not the same. It ain't supposed to be the same, but the growth pattern, it declined. It didn't. Education got better, technology got better, but human behavioral practices declined. Common sense declined. Better judgment declined. It's like we're just loaded with educated dumbasses, and we just sit and watch it all the time. But nobody's listening though. No, ever since we've been doing this podcast, at some point in time, I always touch on the same shit.
Yeah.
And as the year go by, another year go by, something happens, the article you read, this, I'm like, okay, now you got all these, I don't know, experts in higher running fields saying the same shit I said already. I'm like, can't you see it? So, I think those of us that do see, we just got to keep speaking up and then acting in accordance. Like, for example, as small as this is, but you know it's not small, character development. The little boy is a 7-year-old boy in here. His little brother is 5 maybe. And then the mom was in middle school, another one years ago. She was a student here. So she brought like, hey, I need you to help me straighten these boys out. I got it, yes, ma'am. And I said, I ain't changed a bit. She's like, no. Do what you got to do, right? Oh my goodness, come to find out the one boy bullying the little brother. I caught the whispers of it before, but then it's like he just went too far with it. And I'm like, what? She goes, yeah. I said, so she goes, no, get him. I was like, yes, ma'am. So he kind of had, he was a strong little kid, but, you know, that ain't enough. You got to know what you're doing. He a little cocky, you know, doing his thing. I'm going to do it my way, strong. Matched up with another kid, same age, and this kid actually been here less than he had, but he more coachable, which means he listened with me and he going to whoop his ass when I put him in the ring. And he did just that. Whoop the fuck out this boy. He took a cash ass whooping. I mean, it was good. And I'm watching mom, watching, you know, to keep it, gotta, you know, not let it go too far, but just, you know, make sure you got the message. And you can see when all that, oh man, I'm getting my ass beat. The deflation. So I stopped this, all right? I said, show respect, say thank you. And he did, and I made it a teachable moment. Because it pissed me off. And I said, and I explained to them, and it was a whole bunch of parent kids here that day. And I said, I hear you bully your baby brother. He was like, oh shit. And I said, yeah. I said, well, that was your equal. Why didn't you do that to him? Y'all same age. And I said, matter of fact, you been here longer than him. And he beat you up. There's nothing you can do about it. How you feel? No, how you feel? Not good. How you think your little brother feel? And man, I sometimes I get on one and because I was the kid bullied forever. I know what that's like. You're gonna just dump on somebody because they less at the moment? How you're a punk. You don't want to deal with your equal or challenge better, but you want to beat down and then beat your chest about it. When I got done, everybody started clapping. It was weird. I didn't even know how deep I got on it. Yeah. But that kind of thing. Just that right there. And then before we left, and he said, when we walked the dog, like Ajahn, said, I'll never bully my brother again. I promise. I said, you serious? Yes, sir, I won't. I'm like, all right. There you go. That's dope. It's just shit like that.
And ain't nobody gonna bully his brother either. That's another lesson you helped him with.
But my thing is, it's like, okay, these type things just fell to the fucking wayside. You know, the just normal, you know, kind of like you get in trouble in school, you got whooped at school in front of everybody. You got another ass whooping when you got home. Like you knew it. Or if you did something at Big Mama's house, Big Mama whoop your ass. Well, you damn sure need to get another ass whooping when you get home.
Yep. I grew up in church, so I got whooped by everybody.
Right. But the whole tough love thing, like, it's just some things that too much with the kind of gentle nonsense. I mean, I know there's a limit to anything and everything, but you don't throw the baby out with the fucking bathwater, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah. Things just went too fucking far. Now we back to too much this way or too much that way. Neither one of them work. Got to find the fucking middle. And I really do. I just watch just straight nonsense. In human behavior, like I said, it kind of ties in with and I've said it time and time again with the social media thing. Like it's a great thing. You know, everybody can speak. The sad part is not everybody should be speaking because they ain't really got shit to say. They really don't. And we're just inundated with expert opinions from non-experts. And then you got individuals that are smart enough to deduce and whatnot, but sometimes you just get beat down. You hear it. It's like I said with the last administration when what I saw they were using business principles for political practices. The version of advertisers and whatnot. You know, you just keep squawking. You can just, the sky is purple, sky is purple, sky is purple. Say it 30 times a day, 90 days in a row, it's going to get into some weak-minded motherfuckers. You know, it kind of does look purple. Then like, no, it's a hue view, but it's actually purple. You a motherfucking moron.
Scientifically true.
That's human behavior. Well, you take social media and it's this, a dog's not a dog, it's a cat. Uh-oh. A cat's not a cat, it's a dog. 30 times a day. Every goddamn day. You keep hearing this shit. And you're like, you know what? You a fucking idiot. Click. It's stupid. Not enough of that. I know I crayon the fuck out of it, but that's where we at too. It's an erosion. Like I said, highly educated and common sense is just gone. Better judgment, gone. Just 2-3 training camps ago. I was teaching something in there, and I said, well, we in the 80s, because how to do and what it takes, like the ABC 1, 2, like steps to succeed in this, that, and the other, whatnot, was kept away from us for a long time. Some people will get it, but, we ain't gonna tell y'all, you find the right counsel to help you with the shit. Well, it's knowledge and information. Dying for it. Okay, how do I do this? You don't get it, but when you get it, you're like, oh,
yeah.
And motherfucker, you get to work. That's what you've been waiting on. Okay, how, So I'm saying, hey, I can't remember what cool ass trick technique. There's hundreds of them. I do. It never feels like, ooh, like it's some magic trick I just thought of. And I was like, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. You stay at this, you learn. I say, you be amazed what you can do, but you got to know what to do and how to do it. Okay, get there. I'm fine with it. And then one of the female students had Scott come back and low-key type snide with it. She says, John, knowledge is not just knowledge is power, it's applied knowledge is power. She's millennial, so she gotta do that bullshit one-up thing. And I just stopped and I go, okay, so you're gonna get to work then. Then she froze, like, oh, fuck, yes, sir. I go, Stop. Alan was here, he's 52. I looked at him, he's a professor. Cameron was here, he's 42. The rest, we were back there, everybody else is gone. I said, man, you hear that shit? And Alan just put his head down, shook his head. Cameron, he didn't get it. And I broke it down. And I said, so why, our generation, because he behind us by a little bit, but definitely me and Alan, when you heard the term knowledge is power, it's implied, use it. You don't learn some shit and do fucking nothing. Yep. It was redundant to even say apply. And I'm thinking, what the fuck you supposed to do with information? Nothing.
That's funny.
But the lived out action, as I see per training camp, because I have to go back over again and again and again. Dutch leg kick drill, automatic counter, 1 through 4, 1 through 7, because they're lazy. Yeah, you get the information. Okay, what are you doing with it? Nothing. Or not a whole lot, or a little bit, or whatever. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't pick up an anvil and drop it on the motherfucker's head and say, unfuck yourself. Oh, I'm so sensitive, that hurt.
Yeah, it's funny.
You just fucked either way.
A lot of the OGs would always say something, excuse my language, but they'd be like, what's understood doesn't need to be explained, nigga. And that's what they would always say that to people that was talking too much and over-explaining shit. It's like, you either lying to me, just get to the point. Because I understand you don't need to keep explaining this
right.
shit. And it's like you said, with that, it's like that mindset, even though it's an old school mindset, some of the OG gangsters to the CEOs all have the same shit.
Yeah.
If I understand it, stop fucking explaining it.
Just stop.
Because now you lying or now you're doing something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with her, it was like, once again, y'all come from that mindset, and it's like you said what you had to say. Anything within the blanks that you got to fill in, subtext, whatever, there's an understanding that he said 2 words. There's probably 10 other things that attach to that, but I know that. I don't need to ask him to double check. Let me go do what the fuck I got to do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's crazy.
I've implied it a million times, when, Crew Vince would teach me. he didn't have to beat me to death with it. He go, well, Ruben, do this and this, and then he would do a demo and I'd do with him. Say, you cool, you got it? Got it. He gone. I'm gone. And I grind it to death. That's the process of learning.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to come back and talk about it. The fuck we talking about? Bitch, I just told you. Go do it.
Yeah. And that goes back to the social media thing.
Fuck.
If even professors would say the same thing, or once again, people that subscribe to the old way of thinking, and everybody's so quick to speak. And a lot of times what people would tell you is, even though you're quick to speak, go read some more. And a lot of times, once again, the 90s and 80s, and even things that I've learned growing up, they would say, like, a lot of times when you feel like speaking, tell yourself to go study some more. Because you probably missed something and you're going to notice it when you study and be like, damn, I'm glad I didn't speak too
Yes.
There's depths to it. And it's not until you really understand it when you should speak. But people are so quick to get their words out or not, I guess not patient enough to the right time. It's like, once again, it goes back to about me rather than the words.
Right. Well, but now it's this the screaming desire for attention or validation. And I alluded to it when and I go out my way, you know, I'll because I'm damn sure 100% OG. All the guys in my group, how many fucking 50-year-olds you know live and carry on the way I do? Not a whole bunch. I don't even remember motherfuckers when I was young at 50 doing any of what I'm doing, like at all. So I reward myself, my fucking scotch, and kick back with my fucking cigar, like, hey, motherfucker, I live longer than I actually supposed to. And still living strong. You understand what I'm saying? Mid-50s, fuck you. That's not a joke shit, right?
Well deserved.
So, but then I'm like, hold up. The young motherfuckers will infer the wrong shit. So I'll go right back to, just so you know, I didn't have my first cigar until I was 50 years old. I waited that goddamn long on purpose. 50. Who the fuck got patience to wait 50 years to do any goddamn thing? Not a whole lot of people.
Yeah, not me. I started smoking at 15.
No. But you get my point. My thing is, because for me to see some 22-year-old pop their collar, bitch, what are you celebrating?
Yeah, I feel you.
What the fuck are you celebrating? What high achieving thing have you done? You just getting started. You got 10 years of holy hell to get through. And right around that early 30 part, men go through this weird goddamn thing. What you gonna do then? You need to wait. There's a lot of shit to go through. A lot of shit to go through. And every man knows that, especially if he's in his mid-30s, motherfucker like, yep. He ain't lying on that one. Oh, but this 20-something-year-old, what the fuck they call it? What is it? There's some name for what they... Oh, like balling. I'm balling, man. I'm balling.
That's because cigars are expensive. But if you don't understand cigars, you're wasting your money.
I just.
For one, you're smoking them too fast, so you're wasting. You might as well just buy cigarettes.
But it's like, motherfucker, be in your late 40s, done some high achieving thing or whatnot. Don't associate that. It's, oh my God. It's the precocious shit too. And I've said that before. I see too many, early 20-year-old, male and female, carrying on conversation, the way they walk and the way they carry on, as if they're in their mid to late 40s. Like they got it all figured out. And I'm thinking, you ain't got a fucking clue figured out. No, you don't. You'll listen to them talking the tone and shit, and I'm thinking like, oh, so we equal? Is that what's going on here? I don't ever say it, but I can sense it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm thinking in my mind, let me see, wait a minute. So, you 23, 24, 25. Okay, what was I doing when I was 23, 24, 25? I'm like, 10 times ahead of your punk ass. And I ain't carry on like this because I knew there was other motherfuckers ahead of me that was like major G's that I was trying to live up to, but in your little twisted eyes, you think you equal to me. Okay, yeah, we fucked. Because in their mind, like, well, I got it all figured out. I got nowhere else to go. I plateaued. And the ones behind, definitely screwed. That's the mindset.
To play devil's advocate a bit, when you talk about, like you said, the I've accomplished this and I've plateaued, to affecting obviously the work ethic with those behind them because they're watching them. that mindset and prescribing to that mindset, is that a time thing, an age thing, or is it just because of the way the world's going, obviously, and less work ethic, less grit, less grind, less patience? Is it all of it? Is that why you're okay? Because I mean, honestly, with technology and everything like that, you can have a 20-year-old that will walk in here, right? And even though y'all probably argue all day, because in his head,
I know,
he might have built a big ass company, hired a bunch of people. I got 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying, though. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the level of accomplishment, he's like, yeah, I haven't lived as long as you, but hey, man.
Right.
So like, where do you go from there?
It's displaced though, because that's an exception to the rule. That argument makes as much sense as that one badass female, one out of say 20,000, that can hold her own with male Marines, and you got all the others trying to do it, and then they FEMA break because they can't do it. Yeah. There's always exceptional motherfuckers here and there, in anything and everything. That ain't new.
I feel you. Okay.
We had geniuses during my generation too, 12-year-olds and whatnot, finishing fucking getting PhDs and just weird shit you never fucking hear about. And it took my God, what was it? Black Enterprise magazine, Jet magazine, Ebony magazine to share this shit, because no other place would let it know that we got some black geniuses. That ain't new, but it's just that you get one, and then a lot in the social media shit. It cracked me up. Fucking Rudy said it best. Like one of his cousins or some shit, trying to be a rapper and all this old shit, flashing money. He said, yeah, motherfucker always flashing money he ain't got. That's my money. He borrowed from me. He's just dying the motherfucker out. They ain't everywhere like that. It's a look. No substance to that shit. Then you got the others saying, yeah, I can be like, the motherfucker sleeping on somebody's couch, dumbass. Period. But yeah, you got that one or two. Bitch, you an exception. That ain't the norm for everybody. It's not. Then you got, let's flip it to the fight game. You got tough athletes. Get to a certain point, because I'm a tough athlete. It got me to this point. My skill set was always questionable. Well, now you ran into a gang of tough athletes with high skill sets, and you... It's not a generalization. There's a cycle and a process to things in general that kind of helps all give an opportunity. It's going to be like this. But at least when the process is followed, this whole thing gradually does this. But if there's no process, flatline. Whatever it is, because there's no way to go anywhere. It's just dead. Yeah. And so it's like, I don't know, maybe, a person that got what we used to call them like great line scores and great PFT and on paper look great as hell. They're like, cool. And then they talk real good. But then when you go into that shit sandwich, you see a whole different motherfucker. Like, wait a minute. What happened? Too fast, too soon. You didn't get some lump bumps along the way. Character building. There's a way to know, at least have a clue. Does this person even have a chance of keeping it together? How you know? It's just...
That happens a lot more than you think. And I think it happens in sports, in business, in church again. You know what I'm saying? I can even use, and I'll be real brief with this example so we can move on, but I can even use myself. Like, as a young kid, I should not have been put in front of adults preaching. I should not have been put in front of adults telling them what the Bible is. But because I wasn't shy, because I was a great speaker,
up, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was good with poetry, and so I was good with putting words together. Yeah. The anointing does not, or the talent should not ever supersede the education and work that's necessary to match that talent. Because a lot of times the talent is 1,000 miles away from the education that needs to be in order to make that talent last. And what happens is they throw the talent out there, and like you said, the guy that's just as athletic as you, just as strong, but got way more technical skills, right? Hey, you talented. Here comes the talent, but here comes the real. You know what I'm saying? And that's
you just ate up.
And that's like I said, I think that happens a lot more. That's dope how everything you do comes back to the process. And it's like the jab. Like first day coming in here doing the jab, you talk to a person that's been doing the jab for a week, and then talk to Mayweather about the jab.
Lord!
You have two different descriptions, two different explanations, and two different appreciations for the simplicity of one damn punch. But it's crazy.
But you got, the talented athlete. Oh, I can do that. It looks similar, but it's like night and day. You can't do what he just did. I don't give a fuck how athletic you are.
I learned that quick when the Jew was like, man, you jump high on a Tuesday and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, like, oh, cool. I was doing all the Tuesday. I was like, Tuesday was some shit. Like, I'm all right. I can handle this shit. That's the hardest day. Get in the ring, it's fucking beat up. Or just a simple spot, like, nigga, it don't matter that you can get through the plyo, my nigga. I mean, my guy, like, you gotta, I'm sorry, I'm getting too comfortable with you.
It's okay.
The plyo, but you gotta, you know what I'm saying? There's other things to this. Like, yeah, you can work out, but can you fight?
Man, yeah. So and I'm glad you asked that question, because the younger ones would do that, and it's like, in a paradigm shift of time itself, we've done the same. I remember when, not that I would be combative in a way or competitive with my dad and my uncles and uncle and my big dad, I knew that I had accomplished more at a younger age coming up, but the opportunity was there, and I took it, and I kept, because they groomed me, hey, because you got to do better.
Yeah.
Dad did a little better than Big Dad, and Big Dad did a little better than my great-granddad, and so on and so forth. We were supposed to progress, because it was so fucking bad. And I'm talking huge chunks of differences where you can see low.
Yeah.
I'm talking, sometimes, I don't know what, this weekend, yesterday, I love my cartoons and sci-fi, whatever, my thing. Somewhere in there, I don't know if it was Star Wars or some shit, it made me think how far I've come, and how some things I've really forgotten how bad was.
That's deep. Yeah.
I mean, no, dude, I made myself stop and go, wait a minute. Remember when this? Remember when that? Remember feeling this? Remember feeling that? Remember thinking, how do I get out of this? How can I make life better? Because it was just horrible. It looked like success wasn't even possible. It was just talk and a dream. We listen to Martin Luther King. I have a dream, and this and this and this. But then I'm born in Tuskegee, and I knew all the history came out of Tuskegee Institute. And I'm like, well, it's been done when it was worse. And I'm like, well, I was born in Tuskegee, so maybe that means something.
Yeah.
And I got to figure this out. And I'm talking no exaggeration of poor. I mean, so even with that, okay, yeah, I graduated with honors. Yeah, I had all these damn scholarships. Yeah, I kicked ass in recruit training when it was like the hardest of the hardest too. Not that I'm going around talking about it. Yeah, I did it. If somebody asked me, okay, yeah, I did that. Right?
Ain't nothing wrong with that, though.
Right. But I've excelled at a whole bunch of shit. But someone that was a mentor to me, someone that was ahead of me 10, 12, 13, 14 fucking years, and they were badass what they were doing, shit. Hey, sir, you got a minute? I got a question. What's your opinion on? I always have had enough sense to know I don't know everything. Yeah, I accomplished a lot. And maybe at the time, I did more than them at that time. That still don't say I know what they know, because I don't. These dumbasses now don't listen. And most of us are bright, and we're watching, like, you're going to choke yourself. We can see it. Can clear as day. It's like, okay, that is not going to go far.
That's too dope. Yeah.
Even when I throw out hints like, look, all the technology in the world hasn't really fixed human behavior because you got to go do you. And I said that what I've seen is that it amplified everyone's character. That's about all it did, in my humble opinion. Because whoever a person has been and what they like to do, that's just amplified with the ability of technology. That's the only thing that happened. If they were shitty, they're doing more shitty shit. And I said this before. If they're a good person, they're trying to figure out how do I do more good. And whatever falls on that spectrum, there you go. That it just I was doing my resistance training this morning, and I'm so glad I've had goddamn 7 tears here, 8 tears here, and I've gone through all sorts of weird stuff to heal. I mean, my muscle look good and strong, but the amount of weight I can lift, my muscle can, my joint can't. So I'd have to retrain to regrow and all sorts of other shit, and I'm finally able to do the bend, and my shoulder's not hurting. I'm talking just excruciating pain. Yeah. And it felt so good. I'm like, oh, it wasn't heavyweight, but I'm like, oh, this thank God. I'm just tired of suffering. And then I would do, I don't know, it was like 50 pounds on each side, whatever the fuck that is, maybe 150 pounds, I don't know. And then the 30-pound dumbbells, and you know, and I'm doing like a gang of reps, like 4 or 5 sets of 25 reps. Like it just felt good, right? There's 4 or 5 teenage boys next to me because school's out. They loud carrying on, barely lifting weight. They get up to the 225, you know, that's the thing. And there's one kid squeeze out 3, 4 reps. Yeah, this thing. And I wanted to pull my picture when I was 15. Kind of go, guys, y'all don't look like shit or doing shit. They go like, no, I could do 20. I remember 24 fucking reps with the 225 when I was 15 years old. Nothing. Extra wide grip too, and I was just bang, 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 bang. Like the shit was, it was weird. Just high, it's just crazy the reps I could do. I don't know. 15 fucking years old. But these, I'm meanwhile, it's like, you ain't doing shit. But who am I? Who am I to piss on their parade?
In their head, but in reality, you have every right to be like, yo.
But you get it. Because it was so annoying. It was kind of cute, but like, God damn, I had my headphones on. They were talking so fucking loud about nothing, but they think they the shit. Yeah. And I'm like, Brandon sent me a, you know, everybody do the TikTok and also cool. Yeah. It's a lot of cool, funny shit on stuff. The dude was doing like you get on the Roman chair, but backwards, where you're hanging off the edge. And he brought his knees up this way, and from this position kept his body straight, and he would extend his body straight and then come back in. So using his abs and his quads. I see a lot of
videos like that,
right?
Like whole body layout.
Yeah, right? He was like, man, this is dope. And I said, yeah. I said, but I could do that when I was 14, 15, 16 too. At 160 pounds, I think I had like no goddamn fat. I could do so much shit back then. We did shit like that. There was nobody to see it though. Yeah. It's just our little group. We did our thing. Yeah, okay, that was it. Big deal. We the muscle ups and all that old shit. That ain't new.
I see
nobody saw it.
Yeah. That's great. I see that all the time when I look at people say, hey, here's a cheap way to build a rig or a slider or a dolly. I'm like, man, we didn't have nothing. We literally were like, yo, the skateboard. Go to Lowe's, figure it out, talk to some construction worker that we need down. So, hey, how would we do this? It's problem solving. Because you're going to have many people who do that.
Right.
Literally
figure it out.
Build something from scratch because you had a need.
Yes.
Right? So in order to meet that need, problem solving and critical thinking was necessary. You had to do it. This is like at 5, 6. Like, you got to be like, yo, we hungry. How does that work?
Let's figure out how to eat. Right.
Now, I get what you're saying. Like, a lot of kids nowadays, they don't have that. And
no.
I think as a parents, I think it's our duty. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s, and obviously for you 70s, and so like you have to.
Yeah, no choice.
Tell the kids like, yo, we're gonna turn all this off and do some random problem solving. Go outside, you're locked out.
What are you gonna do?
Like, I know that's extreme.
It's still the truth.
I feel like that's where we're at. I do random shit with my kids all the time. That's where we're at. But they don't get that experience on their own.
Nowhere. So in a nutshell, like these micro are contributing to the macro of that. And then you throw in greed and bigotry. And bigotry is not just race, but clearly is religious mess thrown in there. And I'm better than you, you're less than me. And then it just goes on. And I do see quite a few pushing most of that craziness. Most of them that pushes it, they're my age to 15, 20 years older. They're spearheading this garbage because that's the same group that was all about segregation. They didn't die. Most ain't paying attention. Like, okay, who's leading the shit? I always say, somebody said, how old is so-and-so? You know, I'll say shit like that because age has its place. Because it was a mindset during the time. And who are they? Where are they from? You can kind of get an idea. It ain't like bulletproof, but you get a clue, an inkling, something. And I'm like, okay, nah. Some people I run into, I swear to God, I was overhearing, and I'm my own business, but I'm sensitive and I pay attention. And let's put it this way. Some people, especially during, it was 16, I think it was, when the last administration got in, and some walk around with the mega hat and just carry on this and that, and then some didn't wear the hat no more, but there was this vibe and way. Like, I can't remember who it was. It used to be cool as shit with me, and then all of a sudden, when that thing went the way it did, motherfucker mean mugged the hell out of me. I think I told you about that one time.
No, I don't know. I know you had a few people that you didn't know were like.
I was like, damn.
Was a Ku Klux bodyguard.
Oh, yeah. This at fucking fitness center. I'm thinking like, wait, I thought we were cool. What the fuck just happened? So somewhere in there, you know, like, that's anyway. I'm like, okay. And this cat, you know, he was, retired colonel in the Marines. And he was, the fuck this dude? He was, from the Midwest. Like I said, he used to be cool with me. And then all of a sudden, like overnight, he changed and just cold as shit. Whole body language. So he's, 10, 15 years older. And I'm like, okay, all right. So he carried that undercurrent of, I ain't never really liked y'all. Now I can just make it clear I don't like you. What the fuck did I do to you, man? How we cool? Now we ain't cool? What changed? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I got one more question, but it don't fit into the theme. And I think this episode was dope. But I like what you said. I want to go back to what you said with you forgot how bad was. Like that shit hit when you said that. And I think a lot of people, even now, like you just elaborate a bit on that because a lot of people even now, depression, suicide, all that shit is huge because I think what you said right there, especially people that have come from shit and made it, and then all of a sudden feel like they don't know themselves, they feel all down and shit. I think what you say right there is something that you got to constantly like, yo, remember how the fuck bad really was and appreciate where the fuck you are.
Well, it was watching, it was, I'm a sci-fi nut. So I was watching Star Wars Rebels. It's cool as shit. I'm sorry, I'm a weirdo, man. I fucking love it. It's so cool. And there was one scene in there where it's narrowing down to like, you know, only 2 more Jedis because all the others have died, but they were coming back in spirit and this and that. And the one older was trying to teach the younger guy something. And the kid was from the street, but he was conflicted with his heart was good, he was strong and this and that. He thought it was just about himself, but he wasn't. He was about helping others and didn't know it. And it grew and it came out and whatnot. And I mean, he was, you know, sleeping on floors and this and that, barely scrounging to survive, and went from that to up, right? And somewhere in it just made me remember, you know, the shack we lived in. Like, not just looking at it, but the day-to-day living in that. It was clean, but it was squalor. And you pull back, it's like, who the fuck lives like this? I mean, like I've said it many, many times, you don't know how poor you are until you get away from it and then reflect. I mean, God damn. I mean, damn, it's like a dream. It's so bad, you know? And, you know, and I love my home and my things. I mean, I work so hard, and I just like, fuck, kind of come a long way. Like, it just, I had to pause the fucking thing because that interaction just made me pause. I just did, you know? I mean, I got inside plumbing. I didn't have inside plumbing. Something, that goddamn something. Clean, which I love, and organized. It was clean, but it was nothing. I mean, Mom literally make us take pledge and like we was spotless clean a shack. She was like, we ain't got shit, but it's gonna be clean though. Yeah, I know, and it she did well because I keep my house spotless. Mom trained me. She's like, you know. But fuck, man. I mean, to bitch and complain, and then like I said, compounded with there was none of this denial of racism. That's just how it was. Niggas here, y'all this, not niggers. I'm talking nastiest of the nasty to make sure you know your place. That was normal. This ain't made up. This ain't, I don't, it's so surreal. And then to hear others, or especially, what's that bitch name, Candace Owen? Oh, so fucking disgusting. It's like, you can't speak on what I've lived through and my family and whatnot, and hers has too. She just shit on herself. She whatever the fuck. I don't know. Just it's the most asinine nonsense ever. But whatever. But hey, she making money, and that's all this thing about. Ain't got no goddamn dignity, clearly, and whatever. But that shit was as real as this desk right here. So you got that. You know, and then you gotta be told how to function, definitely with the law, because every single one of them is part of the good old boy network. And I mean, it was like your whole life was just fucked up. So you ain't got anything. You got nothing, really. And the school system was less than nothing. We knew we were thrown away. Then you got to deal with the segregated environment. I mean, you was just, he's just saying, you fuck like 10 ways from Sunday? Shit. Ain't nothing but knives and sword coming at you. Just one slip, that's all it takes. And then most just, fuck it, what's the point? We ain't shit. We dumb niggas, we did. And then they still end up on the damn street corner. They just stay there. I'm gonna stay there. Just, like I said, it really amazes me sometimes when I stop and I think, how the fuck did I even survive? But then there's about 5 of us that really did well, and clearly we were the one that's pissed off. Smart. We getting out of here. We can do better than this. Did too. About 5. It's like bad. It's just, ooh. To have, they no food. You freezing in the winter because you can literally look through the fucking wall or look through the damn crack in the floor and see the ground. Like, a shack. It ain't a house. It's a shack. And you burn the fuck up in the summer. I mean, it was just miserable.
That's why.
Just miserable.
You spoke on it before. I think that's why, like, hey, because if you never told me the stories and stuff like that, and you said I forgot how bad was, like that would have never hit the way it hit. And I think that's why I wanted you to elaborate on it and it just for people to remember whatever your bad was, like remember that, hold on to that, so that you can continue moving from that instead of dwelling on it and ending up back in it.
Grow. Keep growing. Not just going, keep growing. Now, how you gonna grow without knowledge? You gotta learn some more shit, and you're never done. So what? I've been at this 30 years and whatnot. Like I said, it was the coolest thing when I went to that Crew Muay course, which they never let any foreigners in, only the Thais and whatnot. And I'm like, it would take 10 lifetimes to even try to learn all this shit. I'm fine with still learning. I love learning. So I can't buy someone, oh, I did this and I'm at this age. Okay, yeah, so are you done? Are you saying you got it all figured out? Because if you do, you fucked. Because as soon as you get there, you stop progressing. You slowly gonna regress. If you're not gradually moving forward, there's no staying right here. You just kind of that.
Yeah.
You got to keep scratching to go that way. Just scratch. As soon as you stop, little by little decline. You know, so it just the body we know. Yeah, you gradually go this way. The timeline going that way. You peak, but then the body going like this. But then if you're smart with the mind goes like that. Body gonna depreciate. Depending on how sharp you are and then your genetic code, if you train yourself right, then who knows, hopefully you don't have that gene for Alzheimer's, because if you don't, it stays sharp to the end. If it does, then it'll start to depreciate too. But if you exercise the mind continues to grow too. Like my counselor, Ms. Gibbons, this woman 90-something years old, and she's still a dean, double PhD dean in Alabama. I want to be like this woman so bad. I tell her, I'm like, God damn, I'm still trying to grow up and be like you.
And the crazy thing about that is one conversation with her is probably 1,000 books. It's crazy.
Exactly.
But that goes back to your point. Learn.
Oh my God.
Got something to say at the end of the day.
So I just, for whoever listen to my podcast and, some of the younger ones and whatnot, yeah, okay, if you're a trailblazer, that's good. Fuck, I was one in my 20s too. That ain't new. Yeah, I did a whole bunch of shit that a whole bunch of other motherfuckers didn't do. Okay, yeah, so that got nothing to do with continued growth. It got nothing to do with continued learning. And if you got someone that's elder, 10, 15, 20 years older, and they're accomplished, you might want to listen to them. You blazing a trail in your field. Okay, your field is just that, your fucking field. You don't know every goddamn thing about life. You married yet? Yes or no? You got kids yet? Yes or no? Do you know what kind of dad you're going to be? Do you even give a fuck about being a dad? Do you know what it's like to be a husband? Have you lost your father yet? Your mom yet? Did you grow up with or without a dad? Like, we can go on and on and on and on and on. So don't give me all this, okay, you arrogant little shit's what you are. Yeah. So when life hits you, good fucking luck. And it's going to hit you. Just keep waking up every morning. It's going to get you. You just win.
Perspective, experience, time changes everything.
Yeah.
That's dope. Well, thanks again for listening to the Y.O.D Podcast with the one and only Tough is Good, Smart is Better. Are you coachable? Choose to succeed. And then Ajahn Ruben. Be sure to click, comment, subscribe, and share. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed the conversation. Hope you learned something new. Thanks again for listening. Talk to you soon. I call my dad all the time. Peace.